If you guys watch one of my more recent videos, you'll see that I revealed my new car, my latest car, my 2021 BMW X5 xDrive 40i. And in that video, I actually don't know if I kept it in the final cut, but at some point I mentioned that there's a reason why I chose the 6-cylinder, aka the smaller engine for the X5 as opposed to the bigger V8. So for context, if you guys didn't know, this is an xDrive 40i. There is an sDrive 40i, which is a rear-wheel drive X5, which of course I wasn't gonna get here in New York, and then you can also get an M50i. So the 40i's include the B58, the 6-cylinder, which I'll show you guys in a second here, and the M50i comes with the V8. So that is obviously the faster version of this car, because I'll be honest with you guys, the B58, as great of an engine as it is, it feels a little slow in this car. Someone actually commented on that video that I first uploaded, and they mentioned that with the X3 M40i, which if you guys didn't know, I actually used to own, that car also has the B58. They said that that car felt fast with that engine. However, with the X5, it just feels average, and that's because of all the added weight from the X3 to the X5. The X5 is just way heavier than the X3. I mean, obviously, because it's a bigger car, there's more weight to carry around, so a 6-cylinder engine just isn't gonna go as far. But again, guys, there's reasons why I chose the 6-cylinder. So one of them, which I know a lot of people are gonna assume, and you know, you are right, is money. So obviously the M50i is the more expensive iteration of this car. The X5 is already an expensive car, but the M50i's are way more expensive. Now that's not the only reason. There's actually a big reason, and I'll save that one for the last part, but one of the reasons why I chose the B58 over the V8 is reliability. These B58s are just like, they're bulletproof, man. I've had one in my X3. It gave me no issues up to like 50,000 miles. My boy Sticks with a 440i, he has about like 70 or 80,000 miles. He's had no issues. These engines are solid. They're amazing. I mean, they're so overhyped for a reason. BMW really honestly became a lot more reliable as a car brand, big part thanks to this engine. Not only is it reliable, but it's super easy to work on. It being a 6-cylinder and a bigger car like this, you still have so much space to work on this thing. Although I will say, filling up oil is going to be a challenge being all the way back here. I think the oil filter is probably somewhere back there, if I'm right. I don't know. I have to figure it out. I haven't done any maintenance on this car yet, but overall, guys, the V58 is pretty easy to work on. The maintenance is pretty reasonable. The V8s, although they're not unreliable anymore, they're definitely not as reliable as these, and they're more expensive to maintain. More cylinders means more oil, more spark plugs, more injectors. It's really not that serious, but it does add up over time. So overall, guys, that's one of the reasons why I picked this, is because it's so reliable. This is meant to be my family car. I don't want to have issues with it, and I don't want to go broke just paying to maintain this thing. So that was a big reason. Now in terms of power, yes guys, this is slower than the V8, but it is a B58, so you guys know what that means. This thing is super tunable. From factory, this thing comes with about like 335 horsepower, which is actually detuned compared to other B58s out there. If you guys get an M340i, you get it with about like 380 horsepower. This one, you get it with less. Obviously, BMW didn't want to like cannibalize on their own sales when it comes to the M50i, so they kind of made the gap a little bigger. But stay tuned, guys, because in a future video, we're going to be pulling out the DME of this car, and we're going to see if we can tune it. I think the DME sits like right over here, so it shouldn't be too bad. We just have to take off this one strut bar. We should be able to take off this cap. I can take out the DME, and we can check the label on it and make sure if it's manufactured before a certain date, we can unlock it and tune it, which is going to be sick. So we can definitely unlock a lot of hidden potential in this B58. But if we can't tune it, what we can always do is do a piggyback tune. A flash tune would definitely be ideal, but if we have to go piggyback, that's totally fine. So although we're getting a smaller, less powerful engine, we still have one with a lot of potential that we can easily tune. It's not like when you get the B46 and like a 3 Series or something, those engines, they have potential, but not as much. This one, you have a lot of potential, so I wasn't too worried about the power aspect of it. And then also the nice thing is, this thing is a lot better on gas than the V8. I believe BMW rates this one for about like 25 or 26 miles per gallon highway, but the M50i, I think it only gets like 22 highway, so not a huge difference, but enough to add up. Because again, guys, I keep on saying, this is my family car. I'm going to be taking this car on road trips and things like that, so gas mileage is very important. On my G80 M3, I don't care as much, but on this car, I definitely care. Now, something to note with getting the 6-cylinder on an X5 is you don't get the M Sport by default because it is an S-Drive or X-Drive 40i. If you get the M50i, you always get the M Sport. Obviously, you guys can see I have the M Sport package. So that is one of the downfalls of getting the 6-cylinder, is you're not guaranteed the M Sport, but that's no big deal, guys. Just do your shopping. You can definitely find one with an M Sport with the smaller 6-cylinder B58. Whenever I buy a BMW, I always have to make sure I get an M Sport. So honestly, if I couldn't get an M Sport with the smaller engine, probably wouldn't have gotten it, but that's okay because thankfully you still can get it. I have a full M Sport. Now, the next and final and most important reason why I got the 6-cylinder on my X5 as opposed to the 8-cylinder is the third row. So in that video where I revealed this X5, I mentioned that it is very rare. I'm not going to go into all the specifics of that again. Long story short, guys, these things didn't really come with the third row. It was a special request, so there's very few of them of this generation with a third row. However, I did manage to get one of those few. And the nice thing, or actually the bad thing about that, is if you want a third row, you have to get the B58. You actually can't even get an M50i with a third row. Like if you go try to find these used, there's just no options for that. So ignore all the kid stuff back there in Trader Joe's bags, but you guys can see right there, this car does have a third row. It is down right now. I do use it more like occasionally. If you guys watch my channel, you'll know I have a growing family. You can see the 2 car seats right over here. So having a third row is very, very important to me. Although having a V8 still would have been cool because let's be honest, I probably could have gotten it if I really wanted to spring the money. However, not being able to get a third row was just a deal breaker for me. Besides the extra space in the trunk, that was honestly the only reason why I got an X5. I would have gotten like, I don't know, an X3M or something, but having that third row was very, very important to me. So like I said, guys, if you try to go get a X5 used, an M50i, you won't even find any options with the third row. You'll only find the ones with the B58 with the third row. I don't know if there's a specific reason why BMW did that. Maybe because of like performance aspects. Obviously the M50i is supposed to be more like performance oriented, and having an extra heavy third row in the rear is just gonna mess that up and mess up like the, you know, the weight distribution. I can't tell you exactly, but what I can tell you is if you want a third row, you have to get the B58. Even if those other arguments mean nothing to you, that's just what it is. But it's totally fine, guys, because like I said before, I'm totally okay with the B58. We'll definitely unlock the potential of this engine. Will make this car more fun to drive because I'll be honest with you right now, it is a little underwhelming, which isn't the end of the world because I do have a G80 M3 and this is more of a family car. But being a car enthusiast, being a car lover, and just loving to drive, I gotta have like some power in my cars, you know what I mean? But anyways, if you guys want to watch more videos about the X5, stay tuned. But anyways, with that said, this video is pretty much done, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.